How's it going, guys? Back making another video today. Got something a little exciting. I have a new box of goodies, and I also have this. This is an APR Carbonio. It is clearly used, but if you know anything about these, they're not very cheap. New, you can find these for I think $500 to $600. This is definitely an older version. So this specific one isn't made anymore. But I found this and was able to pick this up for 60 bucks. It needed a new filter when I first picked it up. The one inside was collapsed and pretty dirty. But for 60 bucks, this is a steal. So what we have in the box is we have our new filter, and we also have one more goodie. So this is our new APR branded filter that I'm going to be putting in the box. And the setup for here, I haven't gotten to try it out, so we're going to find out together if this actually works. But my plan is to just remove this shield here, take this elbow and this filter out, and then hopefully that box should just be able to come straight back into this hose here. So we shouldn't have to do any modification. We shouldn't need a new pipe back there. I believe it should all just mount right up here in the front with the tube going to the back here. There is one screw that is missing on this side, one screw in on this side, and I think I have that missing screw. I have it down there below the box. And then the other thing we're going to be doing today is we will be installing a new camshaft magnet. I don't know if it's called an adjuster magnet or a magnet actuator. I hear a bunch of names for it. Last time when I had my car at the mechanic for the DSG service, he was mentioning that it was starting to seep oil into the connector here, and that's usually about when you want to replace them. You don't want to wait until these fail. You'll get a whole bunch of timing problems and the car will not run right as well. It's only about $60, I think, for this one. So it's not like it's overly expensive, and you can hear that magnet moving around in there. That's what you want to hear. So once I take mine off, it'll be interesting to see if it was really bad or if it just started to have its internal seals start to leak. And I believe the actual leak, maybe it's not internal. There's an O-ring that sits inside of the cylinder head here, and you can see it probably is seeping oil into this area here, getting into the connector. So we have our new O-ring that sits inside the cylinder head, as well as this seal. I think this seal's around the outside, kind of like this. So I'll be replacing that one as well. So before we do the intake, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I want to get some before driving clips with the CTS intake, but I don't want to replace this camshaft magnet while the engine's hot. So we're going to be getting this changed out first, and then I will get some before driving clips of the CTS intake and then swap over to the APR one. Alright, so I did learn, you can see actually that larger seal here. This one will not be replaced in this step. There is suggestions to loosen and take this bolt out down here to get the dipstick out of the way. But I think I can reach that lower bolt there without having to do that. There's just 1, 2, and 3 bolts, and then this should pop right out. We can pick the seal out, throw the new one in. It does look like the new bolts have a little bit of blue thread locker on them. I don't have the new bolts. I'm usually really good about replacing these bolts. This will be my exception, and thankfully it's easy enough to get to. If for some reason they do start to back out or something, I can really quickly get back in here. So I'm going to start by taking this connector off here. It should be easy enough. And you can see, if I can get it to shimmer, a little bit of oil on the top side of that connector there. So, not bad, and it's definitely a good time to replace this before this gets any worse and keep this running good. So I believe these are T30s. So I'm going to go grab that. And let's make sure I can get to this bottom one here. Oh yeah, no problem. And they're not very tight. Yeah, very just snug. Okay. And from what I've seen, you will get a good amount of oil that comes flowing out of here as soon as you pop this magnet off. So in just a second, I'm going to stuff some rags down there, try to capture as much of that as I can. Doing this lower one here. Once it comes out enough that I can get it by hand, I will. I don't want to drop my socket. Really don't feel like jacking the car up today. And taking that under tray off. So I'm going to work a little slower. Okay. Some rag stuff there. I believe you can just start kind of going on the kind of pull from this connector area here. I'm going to get a flathead and just gently pry. You don't want to snap this thing off. Just push a little bit and you can see it starting to come out. And again, you don't want to damage that seal. I did find out that that thicker seal is a part of the upper timing housing. And the upper timing housing does have to come off in order to replace that. And that it's not a job that I don't want to do today. So I'm going to try my best not to damage it. And I think, yeah, just like that, it's out. You can see a little bit of oil coming out. Make sure that that's catching all of that. So I'm shaking this one. Yeah, I think this one was still in good shape. It was still doing its job. And I will be using a pick. You don't want to scratch up your head, so just be very gentle when you're going in to do this. Try to lift and get underneath that seal. Just like that, and pull it out. This one's going straight to the garbage. I'm going to hold it in the bottom with one finger and use my other finger to get it into the groove. That's all in. I'm going to give it one more wipe down. I am going to go grab a little bit of engine oil and just lubricate and just put a thin film on the outside of this so that way it's not dry rubbing up against that O-ring. Going to slowly push this in. It is going to be a little tight. Perfect. Just like that. Lock it correctly. And that's all it takes. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of thread lock on each of the bolts. And I'm going to zip them back in. And then I'm going to Google a torque spec because I forget what these are, but I know it's not a lot. And these are aluminum bolts. And this is an aluminum head. And you don't want to be stripping things out. That's all I'm doing for this. So, couldn't find a good torque spec. 80 inch-pounds does seem very high, so I'm just going to be snugging these up. Plug our connector in, and that's it. Gonna go ahead and give it a start. Just make sure it sounds okay. Alright, I'd say that's good enough. We will go get some sound clips of the CTS intake before switching over to the APR one. Alright, so now that we are back, it is time to take this guy apart. Yeah, and this filter was also very old, had it for a few years. I've taken care of it, cleaned it. It's not collapsed or anything, but you can see this boot here is shredded. And so overall, I mean, it was time for a new filter anyways, whether it's the new APR one or if I was keeping this in, just be a new one of these. Like if this is sitting right here, which is about where I think that'll sit. I want to say it's a T25. T20 is fine. Alright, so trying to get this in there. I think I'm going to do this part off the car. Take this guy off. Get the silicone hose in there. I just want to verify that everything fits before I try to make any modifications. Because this is an expensive piece, and if it doesn't work for me, I can still sell it. So let's see. Well, I don't think that this will work. Yeah, we might be shit out of luck on this one. Let's see. Yeah. Let me get this up out of here. Let me take this silicone piece off. Let me just see if it fits on its own. Let's just see how it would fit if or without that. So if everything was perfect, how would this go? It does have this hose here that it's rubbing up against. But yeah, it just seems like it's a little too low. I don't think this is, yeah, definitely not this direction. The only problem, my only gripe with it is that it doesn't line up with any of the bolt holes down there, which I don't like. I don't want this thing just floating around here. You know, that's going to be annoying driving around and bumping. Alright, I think this one was a fail. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to list this one, and we will probably just look into a new intake style soon. But this one, yeah, this one's not going to work for us. So after this one sells, then I can look into getting a closed box. So I'm going to slap this back together. I'm glad I at least got some sound clips. I got a new mic set up, so definitely cool to get some better car sounds while I'm out driving. I do have some big things planned for this. You know, if you saw the last video, we dynoed at about 315. Car was a little warm. We didn't have a blower blowing on this, so I think it sits around 320 wheel on 91, which isn't bad numbers at all. But I have a good plan to get this thing turned up. Got some things in the works, switching up our tuning strategy and our fueling strategy, so we can run some more timing and target the same levels of boost, and we should see this thing really wake up. And if you want to see some more Mark 6.5 or non-MQB Gen 3 content, or you just like watching the videos, please hit that subscribe button. It is very helpful. I'm a new channel trying to grow and show people how to work and modify these platforms. So yeah, any support is very appreciated. Thank you guys.